Aloha, and welcome back. I'm Panther, and this is Final Fantasy Renaissance version 2.0.4. Yeah, we're gonna restart. It's too compelling of a realization to have loot have Cure 1. Because while endgame it won't matter, because you're just not going to be using those spell slots anyway with a red mage, that doesn't matter when at the end of the day, he still needs to get that far. No, not Mr. Mick. Mixbar. I'm gonna have Bubble be the back end of the group, just because it makes it easier mentally for me to deal with constantly making sure he's protected. And we're going to make sure, like, if we get a group of, like, 5 imps, we're gonna have, Shine use Invincible, but not cover everyone, to see if they just go after him. Because if Invincible also draws all melee attacks, that's awesome. That's truly awesome, but I don't think it does. Again, since Loot is the debilitation master, having him with Walk makes more sense. And having all the damage dealing stuff on Bubble, except for, you know what, having multiple sleep spells isn't going to be a bad idea. Alright, did I mess something up already? Fire sleep. Cool, alright. There. All three, all three, all three, all three. There we go. Okay. Give me some room to buy some extra, or find some extra ones. Right now, that's fine, and then 10 of these. Alright, cool. having loot help out with healing is going to be highly beneficial. Oh, hey. Invincible. Attack. Elemental buff. Haste. And there you go. It does not automatically make the individuals aim after Shine when he does Invincible. But as much as I felt that was the way it worked, it is better to know for certain that is the way it works. What? Wait, hold on. Oh no! That's both cool and bad at the same time. Oh my god. Okay, alright. What am I freaking out about? Let me put it like this. If he casts that, and he casts... Yeah, if he casts this... Haste makes them act in the fast round. I want to preference how crazy that is. What does that mean? Alright. Because clearly, like, I'm even, like, flabbergasted at this. Alright. So, before... Haste increases one ally's chances of taking action before foes each turn. I thought that improved the odds of them being selected first in that long-winded queue of stuff. But you know what it really means? It means it puts that character into the fast track. There are 2 tracks in Renaissance mode for taking turns. Track 1 is everybody's lumped into the same thing. So they all act at the same time. AKA, if Shine is attacking, Loot is attacking, Expire is attacking, and Bubble is attacking, so too are the monsters. They're all attacking at the same time. Then there is the fast track, when Shine is using cover, aka he acts first in the round. That's the fast track. And for that, we need to have it like this. Because having Expire hasted means he'll cast before the enemy even moves. But he'll also cast before getting the double cast on him. Which is bad. It is very bad. Like, I can show you what I mean. Like, we know for certain that Shine's cover acts first. So if I cast... But we also know for certain that the double cast thing acts first. You know what? I don't have to prove a damn thing. You guys saw it. That's actually really fucking powerful. I actually cannot overstate how powerful it is to have a character just acting in the fast round. I don't even know how often it will happen. That is wild. I don't know if that's what was intended, because I didn't see the patch notes changing at all. But man, oh my god, that makes haste way stronger than I thought it was. There you are, Shine. Cool. I think I covered everyone. Not like it really matters. Imp's not gonna survive. Yeah. Nope. Cover Bubble. Because the fight's not really over unless Bubble loses. Oh, and if I cast Haste on Bubble, that will mean that he will always cast Regress before anyone else can move. Again, oh my god. Haste is way stronger than I thought it was. And for one turn, Shine doesn't have to worry and can just attack. It'll probably be a short episode. Mostly due to... I have issues redoing the exact same thing on repeat. It's one reason why I was happy to have the QA job that I had. Because although you were technically doing the same things on repeat, aka... go in here, access the save file, make the save, do this stuff. Yeah, don't need to do that yet. Turn around, do it all again. The reality is, that changed because the games we were playing changed constantly. At least until things became more professional, I guess, would be the wording for it. Because at that point, when things became professional, it more became that the Microsoft side of stuff cared a lot more about things lining up properly. So they couldn't rely on us to just not, for lack of better terminology, they really just couldn't allow us to play whatever the hell we wanted. Like, here's the status for how things turned out. When I started at BMC, it was 2008 in October. 2008, and I started working. I would bus up to their Willows Road division, which was in Brent. The bus ride was about 2.5 hours up there, and it technically didn't drop me off right at the facility. What it did do is it dropped me close enough that I could take. I could either wait until the next DART bus, or I could what could I do? Oh right, walk. Duh. I could walk there. And honestly, I started doing that for a while. God, I got the exercise I needed so handedly. I walked for an hour every morning. I was unusually dedicated to the job. Like, in all honesty, I was probably way too dedicated for how shit the job was. But during that time frame, what we would do is, I was a rank and file tester. We didn't even have what was later referred to as reproduction testers. We just had testers. Testers, leads, and senior leads. That's it. That's all we had. The lead's job was to babysit. That isn't me being joking or anything like that. That's literally what it was. The lead would hand out the things to do and then point at the testers to make sure they understood that their job was to do what it was that the lead was asking them to do. And they would field any questions or concerns or stuff like that. And that was such a pain. I didn't even do it. I'll be completely honest with you. I was offered at one point. I'm not even joking. I was actually offered to be a lead at one point, but my self-esteem was so low that I was like, I don't feel like I would do a good job of it. And they took that as I didn't want to do it, which was not the case. I was being honest, and they took the honesty as like gospel when it wasn't. But you know, that's whatever. That's whatever. The bigger aspect to all this is, and will always be, that what happened, like, with each of the individuals and stuff like that. What it ended up being was, the testers had a queue of things that they needed to do. And the test cases were developed by individuals we never got to see. Most of the time, it wasn't even the senior leads. The senior leads had the actually tough job. That's not me being sarcastic. The actual tough job of going, all right, you want us to do this thing, and this thing is going to take about 10 hours to do. So that's going to be across basically 2 days. And that's not 10 hours total. That's 10 hours per tester. Because they want an aggregate of 400 hours to do something. Alright, cool. If we have 40 testers, that is 10 hours of work per tester. But you can't have them working a 10-hour day. So yeah, that was how that worked. And most of the test cases were weird. But there was a large portion of time where you would just sit there and go like, okay, cool. Now what? Wait until you're told to do something. That's it. Just wait until you're told. And it's like, oh, alright, cool. Yeah, I don't need to do that. And that was fine. I got into lots of conversations with people. There was lots of different stuff that went around and happened. I barely remember most of those days. I remember a couple of the people because they were really awesome people. But for the most part, just water under the bridge and moving on. The bigger problem, I guess I would call it, started coming around probably year 2 of me working there when reproduction testers started to become a thing. So what happened is reproduction testers were starting to become a necessary component. What a reproduction tester was, and some of you who have dabbled in this field may immediately know what I'm talking about. Their entire thing was they would sit there and wait until a bug came in. And when that bug came in, their job was to reproduce it. Now, we can all agree that that sounds great on paper, but man, that's gotta be such a pain. Guess what? It is. I was not a reproduction tester off the bat. Like, I wasn't like an all-star. But there started to come a time where I started to become a favored employee just because when I talked to them, it wasn't, oh man, I jumped into this thing and this thing happened and this happened and then this happened. Okay, what were you doing again? It was, okay, so I was like in this menu and I was pretty damn sure I was trying to get out of the menu by pressing B, but it didn't work and then kicked me to the dashboard. You would think that's simple common knowledge stuff, right? Nah, man, absolutely not. That absolutely was just a, nope, couldn't do that. It was such a strange time frame. So like, I can't even effectively stress, how utterly crazy it was that when I got moved onto the reproduction team, I got to see it shift from pen and paper. I kid you not, for 4 to 5 years of the time I was there, we didn't use computers. When we were asked to do reproduction, we straight up had to write down everything. Holy shit. We didn't have the funds for it. So, yeah. That was a thing. And then we developed yet another job classification because the requests started to become more and more elaborate. So what ended up happening is we developed and by we I mean the company as a whole, developed a whole new job classification, which was called the spreadsheet lead. And their entire job was just to get all the data and then input it. Oh, okay, so they'd go online and... No. Remember, everything was pen and paper. So there was honestly a time frame every single shift where the testers were just not doing anything because they couldn't go home until the sheet was done or until the end of the day. And there were times where we would just finish the day quickly, efficiently, and we're done. But we'd have to sit there because the spreadsheet lead, or the leads before the spreadsheet lead, they had to read all of the people's handwriting. And I'll tell you right now, it was kind of like, I have terrible handwriting. But it was sort of gratifying to know that many of the leads who talked to me were just like, look, like, you do have terrible handwriting, but when you scribble something out, you don't, like, put a vague X over it and call it done. You scribble the fuck out of that thing and make sure that no one can understand what that was under it. And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, you want someone to not read that character, right? And it's like, you'd think that, but no, that's not what happens. It's like, wait, what? I got to see some of that work because later, like 6 years later, no, I'd say around year 6, now that I think about it, I became a lead. And I just, I came in just as the paperwork was being phased out. So, all that stuff was, man, having to read other people's handwriting, I didn't have that big of a problem doing it. I'm not even joking. I really just did not have a problem doing it. The biggest reason why? because I have bad handwriting. And I've had to read my own handwriting. I'm terrible at reading. I'm terrible at reading. As you guys have no doubt noticed when I'm trying to pronounce things, I don't actually read all that well. What I end up doing instead is I will read I will first, if I get the time, I will read something first, and then I will go back through and start actually saying. And what does that mean? Well, that pretty much just means that I'm not actually reading things. What I'm actually doing is, this is the most acceptable word to be put at this point. So I think that's what is actually being said here. There are quite a few times that is not the case, and hence the reason why my grammar is shite. But yeah, so around that time is where things started to shift over. Because the Microsoft individuals, who I never actually got to meet, started going hey, we really need this information, and it's getting harder and harder to get the information from you guys. Is there a way that we can work something out to keep things from going bad? And it's I don't really know what you mean by that, but sure. So the people, the senior leads and whatnot, started basically started going we need computers. If you want us, we need data entry computers for each of the stations. We need that, because if we don't have that, we're not going to be able to give you the data you are wanting. That is just how that's going to work. And they gave us the budget to do that. And so we got the budget to do that. So then all of the stations then had fantastic 4-year-old computers at them. Trust me, they didn't have to do a whole lot. All they had to do was just enough to get by, and that's it. And believe me, that was enough. The bigger issue that came about really was the fact that just the fact that for all that was said and done, oh cool, the state of things never really changed. And what I mean by that is that even though we had computers to do shit with, it never really improved the fact that we were hiring anybody who would walk in. I am not joking. We literally had people who couldn't afford to have a house. And at that time, I want a preference. I'm not talking about like right now. I'm talking about like they had no home and what they would do, because I also have to preference something else. Do not think about the job that I did like it was a standard job. I would come in at 6 o'clock in the morning and wait 2.5 hours. 8:30 is when all the bullpenning roll call came down. Why? Here's the thing. They couldn't trust people to show up. I want you to like ruminate on that. They could not trust people to show up to the job that they were asked to do. So what would happen is they would always staff 20% more than what was needed. Like, can you contemplate that craziness? Because what that really boils down to at this juncture is that I got to work almost every time that I was called in. Almost every single time. Why? Because I showed up 2.5 hours early and put my name, if not first, damn near first. On a list that, in all honesty, well, there could be 60 people on that list. 60 people. That is fundamentally crazy. Why 60? Well, because they needed 50. Yeah. The same rooms. And also, it started getting crazy enough that there were almost 100 people in the same room waiting. For a while, we had free soda. So I want to also push the realization to you all that some of the people showed up just for the free soda, but we lost the free soda because of those same people, because when they didn't get on a shift, what would they do? They would take a whole case of soda home with them. Couldn't keep that up. So yeah, where's this rambling even going? I basically saw the transition from where it was the only reason why we didn't have zombies working at VMC is because they didn't technically exist. There was no other ethnical reason why zombies would not be employed to do this job. I am not joking. They hired people who had never touched a video game in their life. And man, did that kill whatever sense of pride in what I had as a resume, which, by the way, was stupid. I had a dumb fucking resume. I had put every single game and what system they were for in my resume. You know how big my resume was? 8 pages. And the recruiting lady was like, oh, I see you played lots of video games across multiple different systems. This is exactly what we're looking for. And I was like, oh, awesome, cool. Yeah, this sounds like it's going to be great. And then I see other people who are like, yeah, I've never played a video game in my life. I'm like, oh, good. Awesome. I'll catch you all in the next time, I guess. When that happens, I won't be rambling about crazy, dumb shit that happened in my past about the one and only job that I had up until that point. At this point, you want to know how many jobs I've had? 2. YouTube, I don't get paid for, so it's not a job. So, yeah, man. Catch you all next time. Until then, have fun, be safe, and aloha.